Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, the Popular Side Podcast. As always, he's Yinka Yusuf,
Hello, people.
and I'm Matt Kennedy K. Very, very good to be back after a very interesting week in the sports world.
Yeah,
Yinka,
interesting week.
yeah, very, very, very. The transfer window closed with
Yes, transfer window closed.
lots of shenanigans afoot.
Yeah, as usual, as expected.
As usual, a particular Nigerian striker dominated proceedings. What a time to be alive, brother.
Oh, what a time to be alive, my brother. What a time to be alive. Interesting,
right.
interesting.
So Yinka, we're recording on a Monday. We couldn't do it on Sunday. Let's not make a habit of this. But we're recording on a Monday. 2nd of September. It's Labor Day in North America, US and Canada. So happy Labor Day to everyone. So what are we going to talk about? We obviously will go through our top 5 league review, as we do. The league's just started, but there's already a break for international features. I'll never understand it, but we're just gonna move on.
I hate international breaks.
Yeah, I know. It just, I mean, when they come deep into the season, when everyone's fatigued and you can use the break, that's fine. But why is it coming now? The league just started.
The players are not even going to get the break. But they go and play for the national team.
Yeah, they're going to play. No, I meant we were fatigued from watching.
Oh, okay. Do you ever have fatigue from watching? That's you, not me. I want to watch games.
Well, when my team is getting beat up, I can get quickly fatigued.
I can imagine.
Yeah, which for a good decade back then, that's what it was like being an Arsenal fan. That must be what it's like to be a Chelsea and Man U fan right now. But I'm sure they welcome the break.
Do they have a choice, especially United?
Oh,
yeah.
Yinka, when Chelsea scored 7 and everybody was dancing, what did I say, Yinka? What did I say last week?
You said it was a flash in the pan.
Okay, I said I have zero trepidation that Chelsea was fixed. Nothing had changed. I mean, I don't care that someone didn't show up in the second half of one game. It was 2-2 at halftime.
Yeah.
Like a team that doesn't play defense met another team that doesn't play defense.
Absolutely.
Nothing changed.
Anyway,
So
what are we talking about? What are we going to go through today? We have.
All right, so let's breeze through. Yeah, we do. Let's breeze through very, very quickly. Let's start with France. Just name one thing that you want to talk about in France. They get 30 seconds.
The only one thing I'm going to talk about in France.
Yeah, go for it. I know.
The fact that my boy Mason Greenwood scored 2 goals again in Marseille's win.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
And newsflash.
So he has 5 now?
Is that 5? Yeah, 5 or 6 and 3 or 4 assists. Something along those lines.
This is the second time he scored a brace.
Yeah.
And I know he scored 1.
So that's 5. He has 5 now. And he has like 4 or 3 assists also. Marseille are going to make some hell of a money next season from this guy. Somebody is going to bite the bullet and they're going to buy him. And they will
he may not want to go.
All the PR guys nonsense.
He may not want to go, Yinka. He may not want to go.
You think a Newcastle will not put up money for this guy?
No, but think about it. Like, it depends. I don't know we don't know any of these people personally, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know a few people personally. I don't know any stars personally. I don't play in the stratosphere that you play, right? But what I mean is we don't know what this kid has gone through. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't know. He may have found his peace. So maybe Marcel is his
Fair
peace.
Point.
And maybe he just wants to play well because they can pay him money. They can if they wanted to. They can pay him enough. Not every club in France is PSG, But there are people in France that make a lot of money. You know,
Absolutely.
it just can't be the entire roster. France doesn't produce enough money to pay everyone on the roster.
Yeah.
You know, Chelsea, well, not Chelsea doesn't do anymore either. Man U money, you know. So he may not want to leave. But I hear you. That's conventional wisdom says he'll go to like a Newcastle, which would be the perfect place really, because they could use him.
They could use him. And the other thing in France is PSG won again. They won away to Lille. I guess that's it for France.
We thought that would be their first big test.
It wasn't even a test. I think Lille scored first, if I remember.
Yeah.
Lille actually No. Sorry. PSG were leading 2-0. Then Lille scored. Then PSG scored the final goal in injury time. But it was a walkover, more or less. Nothing exciting there.
Yeah. So
that's it for France.
I see a theme here, right? Mbappe leaves, they don't fall apart. Mbappe goes to Madrid, Barcelona gets better. So
I didn't say nothing. You did.
You love Mbappe. I love Mbappe. I think is genuinely one of the biggest talents we've ever seen. But everyone goes through this. You know, you get to a point where your talent is just not enough. You need to put it all together, no matter how great you are. We saw it with Haaland. You know, there was a time last season where people were wondering, you know, could City be better without Haaland? So at some point, you may need to just look at your own game and figure out how can I be better for my team. You know, But,
anyway, so that's it for PSG. I mean, that's it for France. PSG 9 points. There are 4 other clubs on 7: Marseille, Nantes, Lens, and Monaco, I think. Yeah, that's it for France.
Okay.
Where we heading?
Not quite 30 seconds, but maybe 90 seconds. But that was good.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Let's quickly go to Germany. So this was game week 2 in Germany. The only game I saw was Bayern Freiburg. And I know, Muller scored. I mean, again, it goes back to my theory that something may be happening with company reintegrating Muller into the team. I don't know. Maybe there's something there, maybe not.
Maybe there is.
Yeah.
Maybe there is.
And Kane scored as well. But company is doing well. If they had stumbled out the gate, you know people will be killing company. So
or they might have fired him by now.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
You know there are people just waiting for him to mess up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I'm happy for him. I'm rooting. I don't know I don't know how it's possible to root for the managers of 3 of the top teams, but I'm rooting for company, Nuri Sahin, and Xabi Alonso. So I want all 3 of them to have success, even though they're competing against one another. So
talk of Xabi and Alonso, Leverkusen finally lost.
I know.
Yeah,
it was going to happen.
They've played with fire for too long, and unfortunately, this actually happened at home, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of think this is kind of good for them. I think the players are beginning to feel that weight, that load of unbeaten. Yeah, just get the loss out of your system early in the season. They were actually leading 2-0. I thought they were going to, steamroll Leipzig.
Yeah.
But Leipzig came back. Luis Openda, that's another player that Leipzig are going to make a whole lot of money on. He's not going to be there next season.
I thought it would have been this window.
He's not going to be there.
I did.
Season. I thought, in fact, it might not be there, but January businesses will be. I mean, the transfer window in January will be very, very silent. Yeah, but next summer, I don't think Openda will be at Leipzig. I don't think so. I'll be shocked if he's still there at the end of the transfer window next summer. So that's it for Germany. Dortmund drew was it at home? They drew away. They had a player sent off. But as it stands, it's just 2 games. Early days. Early days in Germany. Very, very early. Anything can still happen. Early. Anything can still happen.
All right, but all the managers we like are still doing okay. So
yeah, okay.
So that's good. major drama, off the pitch drama in Serie A. So let's talk about. We might talk about it down, but let's in context. Let's talk about drama, how it's affected the play, if it's affected the play.
So what are we talking about here? Napoli? Is that what we're talking about?
Oh, I mean, what else is going on? You know?
No. I'm fine. We can. I'd rather talk about the games first. So let's talk about the games first. Then we'll talk about the transfers. Juventus had their first draw of the week. Of the season. They drew at home to Roma. Inter battered Atlanta. Atlanta is looking a shadow of themselves.
Yeah. They look tired.
They look tired. Lookman is still not playing. I think he wants to leave, and they want him to leave. I don't know how that will work out. I think he wants to
why would they want him to leave?
I don't know. I don't know. He seems PSG want him. Yeah. But I don't know how. I don't know what's going on with that.
PSG don't need him. They don't need him though.
I don't know what's going on with that, but he's not playing and he's not injured. Yeah. Okay. But I can dig deeper and find out.
Is the window still open anywhere in Europe? Outside of Turkey and
I think the window is closed in France, right?
Okay.
So I don't think he can even go to PSG anymore. Window is closed in Italy also, right? So it's just I think it's just Turkey, Greece, and some other areas that they have the window open. Anyway, going back to the games, Lazio Milan was a 2-2, very, very interesting game. Tammy Abraham came on and he set up Rafael Leao. The two of them came on and they combined to get the equalizer for Milan. I'll talk about Tammy Abraham briefly when we're talking about the Osimhen and Napoli. Napoli won 3-0. No, they won 2-1.
Without Osimhen.
Won 2-1.
Without Osimhen.
Without Osimhen. We all thought Lukaku was taking the number 9 jersey, but apparently Lukaku is wearing number 11. Some people believe that's an opportunity for Osimhen to come back, and I'm like, jersey number is the least of Osimhen's worries right now.
Yeah, so Yinka, you know how I feel about this. I think taking the number 9 while the number 9 is still there, for me, would have reflected worse on Lukaku than on Conte. Conte is an asshole. Everybody knows that. So, but Lukaku is not. Lukaku does not have the reputation of being that kind of guy. So for me, why would you go? No, you don't do that. We've seen players, we've seen rejects. It happens at every club. Remember, even low-level clubs. Remember Nottingham Forest when they went out and signed 35 people and they couldn't, So, I mean, you always have rejects. That's not a big deal, I look at Arsenal. He had Ozil for like a 2-year period where he barely played. No one took his number. I think it was number 11 or number 10, whatever it was. Yeah, he was Wilshere when he wasn't playing, had the number 10. Ozil had the 11, then the 10, and no one took it until they actually left the club.
Except someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, who comes in and says, I don't care who has the 7. Can I have my jersey, please?
Remember what I said about Conte?
Yeah.
Copy and paste for Ronaldo? Okay. But that's not who Lukaku is, Yeah. But
anyway, so let's quickly talk about Victor Osimhen. You asked me 2 weeks ago, you said, what do I think will happen? I said he'll most likely stay at Napoli. You were shocked, kind of. A lot of people, social media is filled with people with different takes on this. I have kind of some insider knowledge as to what's going on. I do, but I don't want to make it seem as if I'm bashing the guy. I'm happy he is considering going on loan now, which he did not consider before. Which if he had considered before, he would not be going to Turkey. If he was open to going on loan in the early part of the transfer window, he won't be going to Turkey right now. That's the truth, right? That's one. Tammy Abraham is on loan to Milan. in terms of comp, Aki, Tammy Abraham, Victor Osimhen, skill level, it's almost the same. Even if some people can even argue that Tammy is a better footballer, right, than Victor Osimhen.
I would argue.
Exactly. I will too. But once again, I don't want him to make him seem as if I'm bashing Victor Osimhen, right? So I'm choosing my words carefully, okay? Tammy Abraham just came off an injury with Roma. He's not in good terms with the club as well, and decided, you know what, I need to play myself back into prominence, right? I'll go on loan. I'll go to Milan. I want to play. Yeah? Tammy Abraham is older than Victor Osimhen. I get that. But, it's around the same, if you get what I mean. It's around the same. So, which is what I thought Victor Osimhen could have done, right? Is his insistence on, I'm not taking a pay cut, I'm not going on loan. I don't even have a problem with not taking a pay cut, right? Because if you're going on loan...
doesn't have to take a pay cut.
Exactly. When you're going on loan, it's the loan bit I have a problem with. Because if you're going on loan, Napoli then needs to agree with whoever, right, that we take your salary. I mean, we take, we split the salary. It could be 50-50, it could be 40-60, whatever the case is. It could even be 100% taken, which is what Galatasaray have offered him right now, right? But he said he wasn't going on loan, that a player of his caliber should be commanding more a couple of weeks back. That's what he said. Now, a lot of people have also come to say he shouldn't have signed the contract he signed.
It's not the contract, Yinka. It's the release clause. But go on. In hindsight, it's the release clause. But yeah.
Aki, it's not even the release clause, right?
Okay.
See, this kind of things happen. What Osimhen thought about, right? And this is part of the insider info to some extent, is guaranteed money. Yeah. What's in it for me? I'm getting a better deal, right? And I'm helping Napoli to some extent. Because if I then increase my contract, they can get more money from me, which is the same thing that Harry Kane did for Spurs, right? Yeah. So I don't really have a problem with what he did. I think that's actually very good. Yeah.
And it's 25. You're not, 25. We shouldn't be talking about the end of your career at 25.
Exactly. So what happened was, whatever happened, which I don't want to go into, we've talked about this in detail last week. I believe it kind of hurt his profile, right? Cumulatively. Yeah. And a lot of people were not willing to meet the release clause. But Napoli were quick to acknowledge that, and Napoli were like, okay, fine. What do you people want to pay? Which is where the problem then comes. When people were offering, right, Napoli either were not too comfortable with it, or when they spoke to Victor's agents and Victor, those guys were not happy with what people were bringing to their table. So they couldn't find a situation where we agree with what Napoli is offering, what the club is offering Napoli, right? And also agree with what the club is offering Victor. In the cases where Victor and the clubs agreed, Napoli did not agree. You get what I mean? So it now became a difficult situation, which is why the highest amount on the table, which was what Al Ahly eventually agreed to, they tried to force him to go, right? And which is why it was like, why do I have to go to Saudi? I don't want to go to Saudi. Yeah. And but then for Chelsea
40 million euros, I would go to Saudi. Go ahead.
That's you and I will also. But we've now seen rumors or reports, I don't know how true this is, that Chelsea offered him £68,000 per week or thereabout.
Per week, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You people believe it's disrespect, right? Yes, it is disrespectful, right? But why do you think Chelsea has done that? And why do you think Chelsea is the only club that was still on the table at that point, offering that amount?
So a couple of things. Yinka, if you don't mind, let me go back 2 years, right? So this man has now been with Napoli for 4 seasons, right? It feels like he just got to Napoli, but he's now been there for 4 seasons.
Absolutely.
Right? So last season he had some injuries. The season before was the great season, right? Where they won the Scudetto and all that. First time in 33 years, first time since Maradona. He didn't do it alone, but he was a big part of why they did it, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense when you have that historic success, you want to reward the people who got you there, right?
Yeah.
And I think he was already getting paid well as a factor of how much money they bought him for, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you pay 70 million for somebody, in my opinion, the salaries don't always match. There's people that you pay 70 million for and you only pay them 100,000 a week, but you don't pay 70 million and then pay them 45,000 a week. That's what I'm trying to say. You will pay them something significant. So it was already on good money, right? And then they extend him, they give him better terms, but they put a release clause on it, right? And what is the purpose of a release clause? Some are just outrageous, like the £1 billion or €1 billion that was in Messi's contract. That's just to scare you away. Like, don't even think about it, right?
Yeah.
You have big ones in South America where they don't want anyone tampering with their young kids, and they want you to know if you're gonna get this young kid, it's gonna cost you money, even though they play for Santos or they play for River Plate or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are negotiation, I don't know. And then La Liga, they use it differently, and the way La Liga operates, you can just go deposit the money and take the player,
Yeah.
So if it's a more realistic, that's how Arsenal got Thomas Partey. That's how Liverpool tried to get Zubimendi. His release clause is 50 million euros. Do you want or do you not? But in Zubimendi's case, he doesn't want to leave. That's why he didn't leave. So I say all that to say there are two people in this story, Yinka, that are getting a pass. All right. Mm-hmm. The owner of Napoli, who is a little crazy, is one of the craziest owners out there. And you know what I said last week about Conte. Conte is one of the most brilliant managers of this generation.
Yeah.
But he's absolutely insane. He's not like a good bedside manners kind of guy.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it, And
sorry.
Crazy,
so you're saying Conte is at fault here? Osimhen came out and said, I don't want to play for Napoli anymore.
No. I'm not saying is at fault. I'm saying if there was a manager in the world that I would tap to go into a volatile situation and calm it down, it would not be Conte. If you tell
I get what you're saying, but just to quickly correct you, right? Mm-hmm. Before Conte came in, Osimhen had told Napoli that he's not playing for them anymore.
I know. But Yinka, let me ask you a question. You a question. You think if Klopp went into Napoli, and there was, let's say it's his best player, best striker, whatever you want to call him. I don't think he's the best player at Napoli, but let's say he's a top 3 talent, right? Is probably their most valuable player in terms of how much dollars it would take to buy him, or the second, right?
Yeah.
I think most other coaches would be like, I can do it. I can fix this. The young man hasn't talked to me yet, right? This happens under the old regime. I'm saying if there are 2 managers in the world that will not do that,
I agree
Conte
with that.
and it's Mourinho. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with that.
Conte and it's Mourinho. They're like, no, I don't want him here. Gone. I think Pep would have the conversation. I think Klopp would have the conversation. I think any other manager will have because they know ultimately what matters is let's go win another league title. And Inter is looking unbeatable right now. I need this guy if I'm gonna do it, or I need to resolve the problem one way or the other. So I'm saying this was a volatile mix, a very immature player who thinks is better than what he is. He hasn't had people like you and I in his life to tell him you're not a very good footballer. You're a hustler, but in terms of football skills, he ain't it. You know what I mean?
No, but
he hasn't.
But
go on.
But I can hold on. Right. If Osimhen, right after that season that he had, if he had left, right, there were clubs willing to pay that release clause for him at the end of that
130 million, easy. It was a reasonable release clause, but the world changed, bro.
So, which is the problem here? It's about it is me that the ego, right? And which is why I told you about the other day, that there is nothing called internally generated goodwill. It's true. The reason why Saudi offer is the highest offer is because they're willing to pay a premium, because they know that their league is quote and unquote rubbish. So Saudi pays a premium on everybody. So Saudi market is different. My point is, every other person in Europe, every other league every other market that Osimhen really wants to be in, those people are like, you know what? At that amount, at that fee, and the whole mess up you all have within Napoli and yourselves, we don't want a taste of that. Right? So it is a perfect storm, right? Of what you mentioned, an immature footballer, a stupid agent, right? A stubborn and incompetent Napoli owner, right? And a coach that is just like, I want my guy. Lukaku's my guy. I don't care about this young Nigerian that I don't want him, right? So something has to give. Which is why I said last week, I said he needs to humble himself and get back to what is important. Do you really want to still play football? Then go play yourself back into prominence. All these, I'm the African Footballer of the Year. I can't do this. I can't do that. He told everybody he wasn't going to take a loan. Is he not going on loan now? But I even understand that the gala bid, he hasn't even agreed to it. He hasn't agreed to the gala bid yet.
I think a seismic shift happened in the last 2 years. Like, look, the world of football financing, you talk about it very eloquently. It's very fluid. It's very dynamic, right? Yeah. We're still reeling from COVID. There's really no money in Europe outside of the EPL. That's the reality. And now with Mbappe gone, think about it. Mbappe left for no money at all. He's not being replaced by anybody you've ever heard of. The star power is now completely gone from one more league, right? There's really no stars in Portugal, the way we think about stars, right? So Portugal is a selling country. France is a selling country. They're not about to, only PSG pays any money between those two countries.
Yeah.
So Germany is not going to, the last time you played in Germany, you sucked. So Germany's out, everyone wants to, because these are all copycat leagues, right? Everyone wants to do what Leverkusen just did. They didn't do it by spending 130 million on one player. So why do you think they would do that? The only club in Germany that may spend that money just spend that money on Harry Kane.
On Harry Kane.
They're not about to buy a second Harry Kane and pair them together. That would be insane.
Absolutely.
So, Yinka, that leaves La Liga and the EPL. In La Liga, Barcelona can't even register the players. They had to get rid of one of their best older players just to make room for Dani Olmo, right? And we're already talking about how are Mbappe and Vini gonna play together.
Yeah.
Who you're gonna throw Victor in the mix? He can't even keep up. He doesn't have the ball skill to keep up with those guys. He can't play with those guys. Yeah. So that leaves Chelsea, really, or Man U.
So, Akin, there were 4 teams that was on his shortlist. 4 of them. It was United, it was PSG, it was Chelsea, and it was Arsenal.
Yeah.
United got off the list when they opted for Xerxes ahead of him.
Yeah.
The third,
more dynamic,
better
skilled,
is cheaper,
taller,
is Dutch,
younger.
is blah blah, is younger, blah blah blah. They
45
opted
million.
for 45 million cheaper. We're not dealing with stupid, crazy Napoli hierarchy.
6'4".
Do you understand? So they went for Xerxes. Some people might not like their choice, but United seem to be happy with what they've done.
I love their choice. The kid looks amazing.
United off the table. PSG on the other hand was like, we have Colombiani, we have Gonzalo Ramos. Do we really need this guy? Right? PSG.
You can play Dembele through the middle in a pinch.
So, and
I wouldn't, but you could.
Luis Enrique is a crazy guy.
It's like Conte.
So, exactly. So, PSG excused themselves. Now it's left to Arsenal and Chelsea, right? Arteta wasn't convinced, right? I don't want to talk, maybe we shouldn't talk about, but you know the way this thing works. Arteta will always tell you, I talk to the player first, I talk to the agent before we even go and talk to the club.
No, that's real.
At that level, they were not convinced. They opted out. So the only person left was Chelsea, which is why Chelsea said, since I'm the only one in this, whatever, I can lowball as much as I want. It's up to you to say whether you want to come or not. And he was like, how would Chelsea offer me £68,000? Are you guys okay?
So you can't let's just make this, let's put the numbers in the same units so everyone can follow.
Yeah.
So this man, I believe in Serie A is making like 10, 11 million euros a year.
Yes. It's right? Like 200,000 per week. Yep.
Per week.
Roughly.
So I'm not sure if that's net of taxes, because in some countries they give you the number net of taxes.
It's
in
not
England,
net of taxes. It's not net of taxes.
In England they don't.
Yeah.
Okay. So 10, 11 million a year. Saudi was offering him 40 million euros, no taxes. 40 million euros, no taxes a year.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And offering Napoli, 70 something million euros?
60 something million euros.
60 something million euros. Okay.
Yeah.
So half of whatever. But
and they put, to add to that, they put a favorable release clause that Osimhen requested for.
Yes, so he could get out.
They obliged him. So he could get out after 1 year. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So when he will be 26.
Yes.
So, but Yinka, this club, Chelsea, offered a guaranteed money of 4 million euros.
Yeah.
4 million. And then potential bonus, of another 4 million if they make, if they hit certain targets.
Yes.
If he plays X number of games, if they make the Champions League, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Right? So he would have to leave Napoli and then hit targets just to make how much he's making at Napoli now. Yinka, that makes no sense.
He will barely not. He won't even make what he's making in Napoli,
that
even
makes no
if
sense.
He hits everything. But the only reason why he can do that, it goes back to my point. I'm the only person here negotiating with you. There's no bidding war going on.
But Yinka, this is an HR issue. This is human resources. You want this man to come and play for you. You want harmony in your. This cannot be what you show the world. Like, this is how I run my business. You know what I'm saying?
So let me flip this again, right?
Yeah.
All these clubs have their pianists, whatever, right?
I understand.
So maybe this is all they could offer, right? And this immediately, the guy turned. Osimhen said, "I ain't coming." What did they do next? They signed Nicholas Jackson to a 9-year extension. So the money they probably should have given Osimhen, they've given it to Nicholas Jackson now.
Okay.
Right? So Chelsea is another different. You're right. Chelsea tried to be opportunistic with the whole situation. But there's a bigger, what you and I have been arguing about is there's a bigger issue why at the end of the day, for a 25-year-old African Footballer of the Year, there are only 2 clubs, right? That are at your door telling you to come to their club. Benjamin Sesko, who is not as good as you are, right, had the whole of Europe lining up for him, saying, "Do you want to come?"
I think you mean not as accomplished. I'm not convinced that is not as good.
Okay, that's another discussion for another day. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah. So to put a bow on this, Yinka, because we've been going back and forth offline on this, I will concede the fact that there are some issues of character here. And again, I'm not saying he's an axe murderer. I'm not saying he's not a good father to his baby. I'm not saying he's not a good son to his parents. That's not what I mean by character. I mean, again, the part of you that you show the world, right? There's some character issues here. There's some locker room issues here, right? There's some potential chemistry issues. I concede that.
Yeah.
Right? But the real issue is it's not good enough. When you're good enough, nobody cares about those issues. Like Zlatan Ibrahimovic in his 30s got offers. Because Zlatan, until he had his ACL or Achilles, whatever it was that ended his career slowly, performed everywhere he went. Nobody cared. Yeah, he wasn't the best locker room guy, but it was good. So the reason, because Osimhen's skill set is from a different era. He's not the modern footballer. He doesn't bring other people into the game. He's not a good ball playing forward. When he drifts to the wings, he gets lost. You know what I mean? Like, it's not good. It doesn't really fit the way modern coaches want to play. And I feel like that's the problem. He's a hit and run, lob the ball over, 30 yards kind of striker. Nobody plays like that anymore.
Yeah, I hear you. And we can agree to disagree. I get what you're saying. No, it's true, because is there a significant difference between Lukaku and Osimhen?
Yes. You can play the ball to Lukaku's feet.
But you think you can play to Victor's feet?
I think the ball will go 8 yards the wrong way.
Now you are disrespecting Victor Osimhen.
Oh no. So, okay, I'm Nigerian. I wish Osimhen well. When he does well, we'll do well, right? But
yes.
Look, there was a time that Lukaku has never not been, when it was Osimhen, it was never not been one of the absolute top talents at his. No, I can't. I'm sorry. I can take injuries and age out of it. Lukaku is about 5 times the player Osimhen can ever hope to be. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
I disagree with you on that, right? I do, right? Because hold on.
Go on.
Because you keep saying Osimhen only had one good season. When he was at Lille, he had a very good season. Yeah, right.
It is caught when it goes in the league.
But it's not you. The same you would tell me it's not about goals only, right?
As a striker who has no other skills, it is about goals.
No, but that is it. What you just said now is not a fact. It's your opinion, right?
Okay, what skills does he have? Tell me.
But what you just said? You said you can't bring him into play. So how did he and Kvaratskhelia now became that tandem that they were? Right,
it was more about Kvaratskhelia.
That we're feeding off each other.
It was more about Kvaratskhelia.
I told everybody knows this. I like Osimhen more than you. Now you're showing your true colors. Right?
I know.
Right? And that's why I tell people.
Who was player of the year? Who was player of the year that year? Who was player of the year in Napoli that year?
It was Kvaratskhelia. No. And I don't have a problem with that. Right? If you ask me also, I think Kvaratskhelia had a better season than Osimhen. I can be objective and tell you that. But what I would not do, right, is say that Lukaku is 5 times the player Osimhen is. Come on.
I'm not comparing him to Jackson. I'm not comparing him to Nketiah. That would be disrespectful. Bro, I think because Lukaku is just so easy to make fun of, people forget how prolific this guy is. So just give me 2 seconds, Yinka.
Okay.
This guy came to Chelsea. I think it was about 18 when he came to Chelsea. Or he was just about to turn 18. They loaned him out to West Brom. He scored 17 Premier League goals as an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Look, we're talking. You can like Lukaku. You can think, he doesn't manage his weight well. You can think he should be. Okay, go on.
I don't dislike Lukaku. I probably even like Lukaku more than you do, right? When people keep saying Lukaku first touch is horrible, is this. I say for Lukaku to thrive, the team needs to play to his strength. The places where he has thrived, they've played to his strength, right? West Brom, Everton, Inter Milan. They've played to his strength. The places where he has struggled, they are trying to force him into a system. Chelsea, Manchester United, yeah? They're trying to force him into a system. It's the same thing that applies to, I can say, even Victor. You need to play to his strength, right? So
I agree.
It's not. I'm not bashing Lukaku here, right? I'm not. I know when he came to Chelsea, when the return to Chelsea, right? I kept on saying a lot of people don't know that this guy it is a nightmare for Premier. It will be a nightmare for Premiership defenders. When he got back, Chelsea were playing rubbish football. They were not playing to his advantage. They were forcing him to play to the way the team wants to play, the way the coach wants to play.
Because they thought it was Drogba. They wanted to play like it was Drogba. That's what happened.
Just make him, feed him. Just feed him. Give him what he wants. If he points that, throw the ball, throw it. He's fast, he's strong, I'm not bashing Lukaku, right?
Okay.
But I also think you slightly, maybe slightly significantly, you look at Victor and you think, nah, this is just, he's an Nketiah level player. He's a Jackson level player.
I literally just said it's better than those guys. I literally just said that.
He's a Sri Lanka level player.
Yinka, I'm glad you mentioned Man U in the Lukaku conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do it now, but if you go look up his goal rate for Man U, he scored 1 in 2. So even when you're not playing to his strength, he still scores every other game. Lukaku is a different level.
But go on. What you said, you're right. Mm-hmm. But then, if you ask United players, they're United fans, right? What they remember about Lukaku, they have worse things to say about him than nicer things. Yeah?
Okay.
Because he stuck out like a sore thumb. Yeah? He did. At times, when he played for United. But when he went to Inter, which was why I was shocked, when he went to Inter, himself and Lautaro Martinez were like this. They fitted each other like perfectly. And I don't know why he decided I want to go back to Chelsea. What was he thinking? What was he thinking? He should have stayed at Inter for a long period of time. But anyway.
But then he regretted it as soon as he... Yeah.
we
always do this.
We always do this. I'm happy that we're getting to a resolution of this. I hope Victor settles for this Gala deal. Go to Galatasaray. You're even going to get more money because Turkey is tax-free. So whatever your loan, whatever your salary is, you're not going to get taxed because you're living in Turkey now. And you're taxed where you live, not where you earn your salary. Yeah? Aki? Yeah, the lawyer.
Okay. Yeah. No.
So good luck to Victor. Let's get this deal. Let him play. And we'll keep you guys posted. Okay? Where are we going to next?
Very quickly talk about La Liga and then talk about the EPL. Very quickly.
So La Liga, Barca won 7-0. Very, very quick point on Barca. See, simplicity at times is what you need in football.
Okay.
This is the perfect example. Barca last season maybe was just too complex. Maybe Xavi was overthinking stuff, right? But look at what's going on right now. They look a different team. Lewandowski looks different. Rafinha looks different. The whole team looks different. So if Hansi Flick has done anything, it's just to simplify. I don't want no complex, no positional. Just play people in the right position, give them a bit of freedom, and let them work their magic. Barca look good. Madrid.
Okay, sorry, 1 sec. Quick one on that. So remember, I said last week, I think Hansi Flick was watching Spain at the Euros, and going, these are the same kind of players that I have. We can do this. We can keep it simple, move it quickly, side to side, all of that stuff. Get me Dani Olmo. Let's go. Right?
Let's go.
And sometimes it's experience, right? It's the Arteta versus Emery thing. So let's see if Hansi Flick will last or burn out. But he's obviously more experienced than Xavi. Doesn't mean Xavi is not a brilliant manager. Doesn't mean Xavi won't win many more trophies. Xavi did win La Liga, his first season. So but Hansi Flick is a proper, more experienced coach. Been there, done that, same things. So I'm not surprised. There's a picture going around at full time. He had his hand on, I forget, one of the kids. I can't remember which one. And ESPN was talking about how even after a 7-0 drop-in, he's still coaching and he's still encouraging or whatever. So, but who knows? But anyway, Go ahead.
Good point. Good point. Then Madrid eventually Mbappe's
Mbappe
Madrid.
has scored.
He scored. He scored. So I watched the game yesterday evening, and there was a difference between that game and the game they played midweek and the game they played last weekend. You could see that Vini and Mbappe were intentionally looking out for each other. They wanted to play together. So I think Ancelotti must have told the two of them, this nonsense y'all are doing ain't gonna work. Yeah. So Vini got tackled for the penalty, but he gave the ball to Mbappe, despite the fact that Mbappe had scored one earlier on. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the key. You guys have to play together. You don't need to outshine each other. You need to play together, you need to support each other. You know, that's the way Madrid is gonna work, if it will work. I'm happy for Mbappe. Let's hope.
That's also leadership. But you know, I said it last week that they have the right coach for the moment. Right? Yeah, if anybody's gonna figure it out, it's the man with no ego. The man who, if he had a big ego, it would be justified. But he has no ego, right?
Yeah, he doesn't.
And everyone respects him. The one coach in world football who has no enemies. You know, I mean, who doesn't like Ancelotti? Yeah. You know, who never says anything bad about anyone, really. And never ever his players. So it was gonna figure it out. And Mbappe is too good not to figure it out anyway. Vini is smart. Mbappe is smart. They were gonna figure it out.
Absolutely. So I'm happy for them. So they've played 4 games, by the way.
So 2 games this past week.
2 games this past week. But anyway, Barca is on top of the league. They won all 4. They are now 5. I think Madrid is 5 points behind them or so, or thereabout. But yeah, interesting times in La Liga. So EPL.
There was a game of the week, Yinka. Bournemouth came back with 3 minutes to go in regulation time, down 2-0 to Everton, came back and scored. I'm kidding. That was not a game of the week. Nobody cares. You know, the only story that mattered was how bad the referees were again.
No, they're actually 2 stories. Terrible. Yeah, 2 stories. What's
the other one?
Of course, Old Trafford. Remember the drubbing that happened at Old Trafford?
Oh, but we knew that was going to happen.
We knew that was going to happen, right? Before we get to the one that will get my blood, let's talk about that first. Arne Slot he knows what he's doing.
Yes, he does.
The interviews, subsequently, you realize that's a coach that knows his onions. Unlike Erik Ten Hag, who got into a bickering battle with one of the reporters that asked him, do you think the problem with United is a coaching problem? And he just kept on talking about United. We are the only ones that have won trophies outside of City, right? I've won 2 trophies, right? I'm sorry for you. He kind of kept on attacking. I thought that was an attack on the reporter, by the way.
It was.
And I'm looking at him, I'm like, dude, just a bit of humility will do you a whole world of good. Right? You could have said maybe, but I'll keep at it. We'll see what we can change. You don't come there and just be stubborn. And anyway, so that's Ten Hag. And this is after they were dropped 3-0 at home, and it could have been 6. It could have been 7.
It could have been.
I can go ahead.
Yinka, I think Mr. Ten Hag has been listening to our group chats and conversations, because all our Man U friends made the same argument that they had a better season last year than Arsenal did.
Yep.
Let me remind you that the season that just concluded in May, they finished on 60 points. 60 points from 38 games. They lost 14 times in 38 games. They won 18 times. They finished 29 points behind Arsenal. But leave Arsenal out of it. I don't want to be biased. This man is saying that he's been more successful than Liverpool since he's been in England. Last year they finished, you have to help me with this, 22 points behind Liverpool. And Liverpool had a disappointing season by their own standards. right? Liverpool won 24 games. This guy's won 18. Liverpool lost 4 times. This guy's lost 14 times. Okay, let me go to the season before, because this guy has been there. Man U, wait, was he there for 22-23? Was that him?
I think he was.
It was, okay. Yeah. So yeah, they finished ahead of Liverpool that season, right? So maybe that's why you think. But last year, 22 points behind. And he thinks because they won a trophy or they won 2 trophies, whatever it is. No, he won one last year, won the season
He won
before.
last year, won the season before, yeah.
He thinks he's been more successful. It's actually quite amazing. But
it is amazing. It is amazing. It's only, it's Man U fans, and this is, he's been listening to Man U fans. I totally agree with you. And he's saying, that's a logical argument. That's a good way to deflect, right? It's an embarrassment. Yeah? It is an embarrassment. And when I say this, people will say, oh, it's because you're an Arsenal fan, blah. No, we can be objective as football fans, right? We can be. As a coach, you got dropped 3-0 at home, significantly outplayed, and that is your rebuttal?
You know, I was trolling our friends, you know, when he hit 3-0, my head, where are they playing this game? Because I'm confused. You know, who is the home team here? But I'm gonna do my weekly obligatory gushing over Mo Salah, because this man does not get enough credit.
Yeah.
This guy is one of the best players we've ever seen in world football. Since England has decided football only started in 1992, he's one of the best players in the Premier League era. Yinka, we're gonna have to do GOAT 11 for the EPL. We saw something we saw something a couple days ago.
We did one.
Did we do the EPL?
We did.
Did
one.
We do? Okay. All right, so we already did it.
We kind of critiqued something that someone did.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we did.
Was Mo Salah in our 11?
Of course, both of us.
Okay.
We had Mo in there.
So we're not crazy. So we're not crazy. Okay, so we're not crazy. You know, because this person put Gary Neville in the 11 and then put Mo Salah.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just crazy.
Again, this man has, you know, we said he's had 9 opening days that he scored a goal. You know, 7 of them for Liverpool, apparently 2 for Chelsea. So we thought it was 9 straight, but it's not 9 straight. It's been with Liverpool for 7 years. So the other 2 would have been when it was with Chelsea. So even when he wasn't the featured player, he scored on opening day. And then he had another goal, 2 assists, I believe. Was it this out of the 3?
Yeah.
And now on the slot is no longer just hanging out of possession. It's pressing. This is something he didn't really do on the club. His pressing, his movement is even more intelligent. I didn't know that was possible. You know, his movement without the ball. I mean, this guy's 32. You shouldn't be getting better on the things that nobody likes to do.
Absolutely.
You know? So now it's like 1/3 of the front line is owning it, you know, with or without the ball. So he's actually a better player now than he was last season. And last season he had that injury picked up at AFCON. Everybody was saying, oh, they should sell him for 70, 80 million. And, you know, I think both of us agree that they shouldn't. So anyway, I'm glad we get to watch this guy. I'm such a big fan. You know, it's just amazing to me that people don't appreciate him enough.
Yeah, amazing. But Liverpool also might not be appreciating him enough, because after the game, he came out and he said, you know, y'all know this is my last season. And they were like, whoa, what do you mean your last season? He said, nobody's talked to me about a contract extension. And I'm like, really?
Van Dijk is in his last season. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think, may have 1 season to go. I don't know what Liverpool is playing at, personally. But, you know, I saw, you know, Gary Neville has a podcast that he does right after the games. He calls. And then because this one was at Old Trafford, his boy was there. And because they were playing Liverpool at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
Jamie Carragher was there. So Carragher joined. And Carragher was saying the things I just said about Mo Salah. But then I remember what you said, Yinka, because it was talking about all-time great Liverpool players. I remember you said that Liverpool fans would not put Mo Salah there. Carragher didn't put Mo Salah there. He's talking Kenny Dalglish. He's talking Gerrard. He didn't mention Rush. Thankfully, he didn't mention Rush. So it was like, yeah, it literally said in 2 to 3 years, maybe we'll talk about him. Like,
you must be smoking cheap stuff.
I was like, he has to play 2 to 3 more years. And you know, Gerrard is one of my absolute favorites ever. I think it's so much better than Lampard, right?
Same.
But he's an all-time great. So is Mo Salah. I'm not comparing the two. I don't need to compare the two. You know, I don't care if one is better than the other. They're not the same. But, you know, what are we talking about? It's like...
that is the disrespect that we say.
That is disrespectful. That is disrespectful.
That's the same way Liverpool disrespected Sonny. Sorry, what's his name? Mane.
Yeah.
They put Mane on peanuts in terms of salaries, right?
It was there was a time it was the 11th highest paid player at Liverpool.
Henderson was almost any times to what he was earning.
Yeah, the kid. No, it's true. The kid from Oxlade-Chamberlain was on higher wages.
Was on higher wages than Mane. So any Liverpool fan,
Salah made twice as much.
Any Liverpool fan that thinks that Mohamed Salah is not a great right now should be drug tested.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I would even argue. I told you. I said the only Liverpool player. I'm not a Liverpool fan, but the only Liverpool player that I will put ahead of Mo Salah right now is Stevie G. The only person I will put ahead of Mo Salah is Stevie G.
And that's a 20-year career. Excellent for most of it.
Exactly.
Leadership, all of that.
All of it.
One of the best to ever do it.
Anyway, so Liverpool, watch out for them. I think I like what I'm seeing. Really, really like what I'm seeing.
I told you they were contenders last week. I said it last week that they are contenders. They're not number 3. They're in the 3, but I don't think they're number 3. They will be there at the end. They will be.
But you had them. You said Arsenal is winning the league. City is second. Liverpool is third.
Yes.
I said Liverpool is second. Go check it.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Okay.
Anyway. City, Haaland, hat-trick, back-to-back. Yeah, the guy is something else. He is something else.
Can I say something real quick on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say something real quick?
Please.
I think he's now played, is this 69 or 70 games in the Premier League?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what kills me about modern day statistics or whatever. They never give you context. So there's a graphic going around. Oh, he's about to catch whoever is number 1 in hat tricks in the Premier League, right? But what they don't tell you is Shearer played over 400 games. This kid just played 70. You know, the same way when they talk about Shearer's goals and they say, oh, Henry is behind him. They don't tell you that Henry played half the number of games that Shearer played. Yeah. You know, so of course he should score more goals, right? So now this guy's about to, he has what, 8 or 9 hat tricks now, whatever it is. But he did it. He has a hat trick every 10 games. That's unheard of. You know, like people play 200 plus games to get the number of hat tricks he played. So I get frustrated when I see these stats that have no context.
Yeah. And you're right. You're absolutely right. But it's just a perfect situation. You have a team that creates chances like no man's business, and you have a striker that puts them away at a high clip. This is what you will get when you have that kind of situation. And also, to be fair to the Shearer, the rest of them, Shearer played for a long time, and after a while, when he was at Newcastle, his goal scoring record became, he was playing like 10 games, scoring once or twice. Whereas his goal scoring clip at the younger age, when he was at Blackburn, when he was at Newcastle, the earlier part of his Newcastle career was also amazing. Yeah. But you're right. Nobody's doing what Haaland is doing. No one has done it before. Right.
And you could argue, Yinka, that Haaland is probably as responsible for Victor Osimhen's situation as Victor Osimhen is. Because again, but think about it. If this is the standard, like I'm like, they got him for what, 65 million?
You mean Haaland?
Haaland? Yeah. I think they got him for like...
That's the official, but the unofficial cost. But the unofficial cost was ridiculous. They had to pay. They paid him off. Paid his dad,
daddy, the mommy. I know all that.
Yeah, right? It was a ridiculous amount.
But even if you go to Harry Kane scores roughly 1 goal every game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It costs 100 million. You score 1 goal every 2 games, if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
And you want me to pay 130 million? Like a...
But for that explanation that you've given, I could also say Mikhailo Mudryk, Anthony, and all those clowns went for ridiculous amounts of money.
That's true. And nobody's doing that again. Has anyone done that in the last 2 cycles? No, that's what I'm saying. Football is dynamic. So okay, I'm glad you brought up Anthony. Ten Hag has signed 5 ex-Ajax players.
Yeah.
Right? The best of them cost half of what he paid for Anthony. The defender is the best of them. Martinez is the best of them.
Yeah.
Okay? He costs, I think, 49 million or whatever. Anthony costs 90. You know? So the fact that someone was dumb doesn't mean I have to be dumb. Especially now, there's been 2 years where I've seen how dumb this guy is.
Yeah.
Why would I do the same thing? So yesterday's cost is not today's cost.
You're right. Come on now. If you want to be dumb, there's a P&L's rule that you've seen them fully implement, and you can be docked points. So you can't. You have to be smart with your money. You can't afford to be reckless anymore. So you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
The going rate is 65 million for...
It's 65.
Dominic Solanke. That's the going rate.
That's the going rate. That is the going rate.
That's it.
You're right. You're right, actually. You're right. Then Arsenal game. Arsenal played Brighton at home. The game was poised to be a good one until Chris Kavanagh. I guess that's his name. Is it Chris or Mark? I don't even know what his name is again. Yeah, it's Chris. Chris Kavanagh. Chris Kavanagh decided to mess the whole thing up. Refs will tell you they don't want to be the star attraction, but every time they end up being the star attraction. So anybody that has not been watching, Declan Rice was sent off for 2 yellow cards. The first one, fair enough. That might be a yellow card. I'm not mad at that.
Could be a red. It could be a red.
The first one.
Some
people were saying
extra eager refs. Oh yeah, because he left his feet there, like his foot there. You know, it's a 50-50. I think it could be a no card. It could be a yellow, and a crazy ref could give a red. Because it could have broken the guys.
I agree with you. So a yellow seemed fair. I'm not mad at that at all. But then the second incident, right? Close to the corner flag, Veltman and Rice tangled. Veltman fell down, right? The ref gave a free kick. Veltman rolls the ball towards Rice, which is not at the spot where the foul happened. Ball was still rolling. He ignored the ball. He kicked Rice, right? Rice fell to the ground. I was thinking the whole brouhaha was going to be Veltman either yellow carded or red carded. Then I saw yellow card and I saw a red card. I was like, sorry, what's going on here? Right? And I told you over the weekend I was at my brother's place. So my nephew and my boys were all together. We were watching the game. As the game started, I saw Chris Kavanagh. I said, I don't like this ref. They're like, wow, why? And I explained to them why. I told you about this 2 seasons ago at Leeds. It's this same Chris Kavanagh that gave Leeds a last-minute penalty, sent off Gabriel when the foul was actually on Gabriel. Yeah? Only for VAR to now turn him, no. It's not a red card offense. Gabriel was fouled by the Leeds player. Penalty was overrun. Gabriel's red card was overturned by VAR, and the Leeds player was given a yellow card instead. So how can that kind of event, you as a ref on the pitch, you saw it in such a way that, it was Arsenal fan that committed a foul, when the whole stadium saw it the other way. Yeah? Is this same guy that referred the game between Arsenal and Chelsea, where Chelsea's goalkeeper barged into, what's his name? Gabriel Jesus, and nothing, no free kick, nothing. And VAR2 said it was fine, right? So let's even come back to this particular event, Aki. Let's go through, because the explanation that they've given now is they gave him a second yellow because he delayed play. Okay? And they said, based on the letter of the law, right, once you delay play, it's yellow card. In that game only, Aki, I could have counted 15 different incidences that are related to
one big one.
play. There was one big one where Joao Pedro, right, the ball had conveniently gone, into throwing. This guy kicked the ball away so that Arsenal could not. That is a yards. Play. He kicked it all the way back onto the pitch, right? If his ball is back onto the pitch, you can't. What's his name? The Arsenal right back. No, the Arsenal right back.
Ben White
could not grab the ball that you have on the side and take it throwing, because he kicked the ball that was already out of play. He kicked it back onto the pitch. No yellow card. So let's assume, right? Let's follow through what happened. Veltman dived. But, okay, fine. It was a free kick. He picked up the ball. He rolled the ball. He threw the ball forward. That wasn't where the free kick happened. Letter of the law, you should tell him to take the ball back and go and play it again. Yes or no?
Yes.
Letter of the law, when the ball is moving, you can't play a free kick. Yes or no? Letter of the law. So 2 ways you should have said no, take the ball back. But you chose to ignore all those letters of the law. And you now went to do the letter of the law that is the third one that will make sure the Arsenal player gets sent off. And you then didn't follow through with the letter of the law because Veltman kicked Rice. That's a violent conduct. He should have been sent off. You choose the letter of the law that you were okay with picking on. So, Akin, this is not incompetence. This is bias. I'm sorry. Yeah. This is bias. Chris Kavanagh has referred quite a number of Arsenal games. Arsenal's win record with Chris Kavanagh is 50%.
Yeah.
Arsenal's win record with other refs is 72%. That is not a coincidence, Akin. I remember the Bournemouth game that he referred last season. That last game that Nelson scored the winner. This guy put it in his match report. He reported Arsenal for over-celebration to the FA. That shows you a fan of an opposing club that is hurt. It's
a Manchester fan. It's from Manchester.
Fan.
Yeah.
So why, even in that game, Akin, if you remember, handball upon handball, this guy kept on looking the other way. He kept on looking the other way, right? Mark Halsey, a former ref, has come out. He has said this is complete nonsense and the guy should be punished, right?
Yeah.
City don't need help. They are good enough as they are. So I'm telling you. So just let it be. See, Yoruba say, "Oshato balek bemi, shemi bo she bami." As in, don't just leave us. Let us battle. Let the playing ground, let it be level. You can't be doing stuff like this. I am sick and tired of this stuff. And the audacity of the whole press, of everyone, is only a few sensible people that are calling out this nonsense. Everybody is saying, letter of the law, letter of the law. I have seen so many letters. The games on Sunday, there was a guy that he said, I was being hate watch. You have it. Maybe you take that. Tell us about that.
I have it. This is the account double 0107 on Instagram or whatever, or X, Twitter. I refuse to call it X. So it says from today's games, that's yesterday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Kulusevski, Gay, Cucurella, Porro, Joelinton on a yellow already. Palmer on a yellow already. Bruno Guimaraes on a yellow already. Dallo. That's 8 people. All kicked or threw the ball away to quote unquote delay the restart. Not a single one got booked. Letter of the law though.
I think this is pure. See, I've told you this thing. I've said it 8,000,001 times. Akin, it's not incompetence. These people know what they're doing. It is either you're a fan of an opposing club or you're gambling on these things. And it will be bad if it is gambling. If you later find out that Chris Kavanagh or someone he knows or someone in his family put money on an Arsenal player getting sent off, Brighton studs on Odegaard's leg, no free kick. Elbow to Saka's head, no free kick. Yeah. The only yellow cards that Brighton got had to do with his ego, not what they did on the pitch. He only yellow carded people for dissent.
And early on in the game, Saka was pulled. His shirt was pulled. There was no yellow. I thought that was an automatic yellow, but I'm just tired.
There was a shot that the Brighton defender handled with his hand. They said that wasn't a penalty also. So I'm like, at this point, we should just be watching these games and be praying that the ref doesn't mess you up. And to the fans of other clubs that are saying, you guys just stay stomach it. Your time is coming. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, that's what we said from the Newcastle game the other day. So let's quickly talk. The only thing I will say about the game is this. I think Arsenal did not make enough. They didn't make their adjustments quickly enough. And I don't necessarily mean substitutions, just adjusting to, hey, we're now playing 10 against 11. They seemed shell-shocked. I think it was because it was Declan Rice. It wasn't Gabriel. It wasn't Xhaka. Who else is hot-headed? It wasn't Ben White. I think that's why it wasn't even the Aaron Ramsdale. These are the fiery characters in the league. It was Declan Rice. So I think they were shell-shocked
in his career
ever. So, but the goal that Arsenal conceded was Thomas Partey's fault. Thomas Partey did not track his runner. He was jogging. Goalkeeper made a great save. The ball had already split the center backs, should never have happened. So Gabriel should have made the tackle. But my man ended up 10 yards behind the runner. That's on him. So, and that's a good segue to. So Partey is actually not the worst. The worst is Casemiro. I saw some stats on Casemiro's first half against Liverpool. Let me look at it so I make sure. 2 errors that lead to Luis Diaz's goals.
Yep.
Lost possession 13 times. Yep. The most in the game.
Yep.
And that's in one half. Yinka, there was one. The ball was going to go to throw in. He kept it in and then just handed it off to the other. It was so bizarre. They just handed it off to the other guy. And I'm like, does he have a mental health problem? Is something going on? I mean, physically, he's just unable to keep up, and then they keep playing him. And then I look at what's the name of the kid? Maino. Maino gives you, I love Maino. I think you do too. He gives you nothing on the defensive side of the wall.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's because of that deficiency that they have to keep playing Casemiro, because who else are you going to play? But then my question is, why would you sell McTominay? If it's this bad, why would you sell McTominay? Why is McTominay at Napoli right now? Because I'm like, you should be selling Casemiro to Saudi. Let him go count his money there. Why is McTominay not, I'm sorry, you don't get to say this guy is not my kind of player. And then you show up and you put up that kind of performance that we just saw, that disgrace of a performance in front of your own fans. I don't understand Ten Hag at all. But like I told you, by January, Ruud van Nistelrooy will be the coach. So none of this is even going to matter. Like, it looks the part. When he stands up, he just towers over Ten Hag. Ten Hag just looks not authoritative at all, and I think they hired the wrong Dutch guy, because the guy over at Liverpool looks like he knows what he's doing, So it's, anyway, let's move on.
Let's move on.
We don't really have to talk about any other games in the EPL, right?
No, we don't.
Nah. But the game I started with, though, that's Everton is in trouble. They're going to fire their coach. 87th minute, you're up 2-0. You end up losing 3-2, and you're losing 3-2 to Bournemouth without Dominic Solanke. What are you doing? Like,
it's crazy.
It's just
crazy.
It's terrible. Okay, Inka, we did not do this. We said we're going to do this quickly. We did not do this quickly.
We didn't do this quickly.
Let's try and make
that's our MO. That's our modus.
I know. Let's try and make up some time.
This quickly.
Yes. So we've been doing. Okay. Well, all right. So let's spend some time talking about the transfer window. I'll just ask the question. We have one question. Who did this question come in from? Do you know?
Nah, I don't even know.
Okay. All right. So I'm sorry, whoever sent in a question, we can't give you credit. But the question is, which clubs had the best and the worst transfer window in Europe?
Okay. We can group them actually because it's kind of tough, right? Maybe we can start with the Fs. We can put Chelsea and Newcastle in there to start off with. Yeah.
Okay. Why Newcastle? Because they didn't do anything? Is that what it is?
Because they didn't do anything substantial. They didn't cater to the needs that they had. Yeah. And you would think that these guys have money, or is it that they've mismanaged those money, that funding that they had initially, and they are significantly, hindered by the P&L's rules? Because if you look at, I'm trying to get what Newcastle, what they did, the people that came in. So Newcastle brought Lewis Hall from Chelsea, Lloyd Kelly from Bournemouth, Miodrag Pivas from wherever, goalkeeper Vlaco Dimos from Nottingham, John Rudy from Birmingham, and William Osula from Sheffield, right? And even the sales too, there's nothing of note here. Yakubu Minte to Brighton. So I'm like, what is going on with you guys? So for me, they had a disastrous window. They didn't do anything. They didn't get better, right? At all. They did not. Yeah. So the hope that I having is it's one extra year after we've bought a couple of players, people will get better. Isaac, the rest of them, they will gel a bit more. If that's it, all well and good. Good luck to them. But for me, they had a terrible window. Chelsea. Oh my goodness. I don't know who's in charge of player recruitment at Chelsea, and I don't know whoever that person is sniffing. But it must be some very cheap stuff. This is not, in basketball, they say just get plenty players, forget fit, you worry about fit later. They're all assets, you can trade them, you can flip them and stuff. Maybe that's what they're thinking, because I don't get Jadon Sancho acquisition. I don't. I'm sorry.
Swapping out Raheem Sterling for Jadon Sancho. Say what you will about Raheem, he will always work hard. As much as I love Sancho, he doesn't always work hard. I don't get it. They were both on big wages, roughly the same amount of wages. Maybe they just want to go younger. So, see, when you're reading from a book, when you're reading from a playbook, I think that's what's happening at Chelsea. So all they see is 29 versus how old is Sancho? 24. I think that's all they see, and they're like, oh, this other one's younger. We can still sell him. Even 5 years from now, we can still sell him. But you can't sell Raheem 2 years from now.
I'm looking at the list of acquisitions here, Aki. Disbury Hall, nah. Yao Felix, okay. Pedro Neto, okay. Magui, Omar Kellyman, Tosin Adarabioyo, Renato Viga, Caleb Wiley, Estavo. And I'm like, who the hell are all these people? What do you need these people for? Chelsea have like 9 goalkeepers right now. Okay, Kepa went out on loan.
It's right? On loan.
Maybe it's down to 8.
Frankly, I don't understand. I don't understand why he's not their number one. I don't. All these other guys are not better. They're not better than him. They're not better than him. Sanchez. Sanchez is not better than Kepa.
He's not. But saying this, sometimes not doing anything is the right thing to do. The fact that you have money to spend does not necessarily mean you should spend this money. It doesn't. If the quality is not there or the need that you need to satisfy. Sorry, who is their support striker for what's his name? Jackson. If Jackson gets injured, then who's going to play up front? Joao Felix? Palmer, Joao Felix?
Yeah.
In that position? Okay, good luck to Chelsea. Good luck to Chelsea. So for me, those two, they're Fs.
Those are your losers. Yeah. Okay. So my number one loser will be Chelsea. I hear you on Newcastle, but for me, there's still hope at Newcastle. You know, because they have a better striker than anyone at Chelsea.
Yeah.
They have a better defensive midfielder, Guimaraes, than anyone at Chelsea. I do not like their goalkeeper, but Chelsea also doesn't have a good goalkeeper. They have better players than Chelsea does. You know,
they do.
Chelsea has a lot of good players. Chelsea has more depth, but they have more quality than Chelsea. So for me, yes, they could have, maybe they looked at Tonali coming back and thinking, hey, we have one more gear to go to with Tonali. Maybe they viewed keeping Guimaraes and not selling him for 100 million. Maybe they view that as a win. Maybe they think a full year of Isaac, is what the doctor ordered. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But Chelsea is a mess. I saw something. I wrote this down. Chelsea got 21 players out of the club this window.
Yeah.
But then they moved another 12 in.
Yep.
So I'm like, what is really... Yeah, 12 in, 21 out.
Yep, 12 in, 21 out.
So what are you really doing? So anyway, so for me, by far, I think Chelsea is the most disappointing. I hear you on Newcastle. I would add Aston Villa. Aston Villa spent a lot of money, and I'm not sure they spent it the right way or on the right players. And I know this would come as no shock to you because you know how Emery moves in the market. They still haven't gotten the tune out of Buendia. He's been there now 2 full seasons. I know he had the unfortunate injury or whatever. They lost Diaby. Diaby was with them, right? They lost Diaby to Saudi.
Yeah.
I don't know who they brought in to replace him. I'll chill and see how things shake out. But their window, I wouldn't call them the worst, but their window was disappointing. So I'll stop there. So Chelsea definitely my worst. Yeah.
Quick Villa rebuttal. Douglas Luiz, right?
He left. Yeah.
And Diaby, the money they've got from those two, maybe Moreno and Archer, right? Yeah. The money they got from those guys, it was substantial, right?
Yeah.
I think they overpaid for Onana. Yeah.
You don't like Onana?
No, not that I don't like Onana. It's
what was it, 60 million?
60 million? North of 60. Yeah. No, it's not north of 60 player. But he's scored 2 goals for them from defensive midfield so far. So in terms of return on investment, maybe he's but I don't know, 60
it's something. Yinka is playing a very difficult position.
Yeah.
I think, not to speak for you, I think what I'm hearing is you've seen what the evolution of the CDM has become, right? It's so funny because a friend of mine who is American, who never played the game, never really watched the game, but now his son is playing. His son's 11. His son's playing, and his son this weekend is now playing CDM, right, for his club. So my friend's asking me, hey, what's this CDM? I'm trying to describe what the modern CDM, and I'm like, the term central defensive midfielder is actually a misnomer because defense is not their first priority anymore.
You need
the defenders should. That's it. The defenders can defend themselves, and cover the goalkeeper. The CDM, your primary responsibility is not defense anymore. It's it's being able to take the ball
for that.
Take the ball on the half turn. Check your shoulder here, check your shoulder there, and it was like, who can I watch with my son? And I'm like, what do you watch? What league do you watch? They said EPL. So I'm like, honestly, there's only 2. It's Rodri, big gap, and then Rice. And even Rice now doesn't even always play in that position. So it's really Rodri. I can't, I can't recommend.
Or Prime Party.
Oh, yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, this was 2 seasons ago. I would say watch Partey. But I can't tell you to watch Partey now.
Yeah.
With a guy just zooming past him.
He will go to the pitch next day and say, son, you are playing goalkeeper.
Like what is going on? So I but Douglas Luiz had an opportunity to be that guy, in my opinion, be that guy. Yeah. So, but now they've changed the profile. They've changed the profile to like a Onana. Onana doesn't have enough, in my opinion, ball skill to be the next Rodri. And you said last week he's not as robust as his physique would suggest. So it's an in-betweener. It's interesting.
So, but to be fair to Emery, I think he knows what he's doing, right? If you could marry Onana and Tielemans, you have your perfect defensive midfield.
I can see that. I
think he's trying to cater to the deficiency of one with the other, right?
Okay.
I think that's what he's trying to do. Because playing Tielemans and the Douglas Luiz, you have too much ball sense, but you don't have grit.
Not enough physicality.
Not enough defensive cover, if you get what I mean. But if you're playing Onana and you're playing Tielemans, maybe the yin-yang, they balance each other out, right? So I actually think Villas is not as bad, right? I didn't put them in that category. I put them in between the okay ones, right? Not the good ones. So the other people I have in the okay ones, I have Bayern, I have Arsenal, I have United, I have Inter Milan, I have AC Milan, I have Atletico Madrid, I have PSG, I have Napoli, and I have Barcelona.
So who is at the top? I mean, all my good ones you put in okay.
No. So for me, the team I think less is more, right?
Okay.
So for me, the team that had the best window is actually Manchester City. You brought back.
They lost Alvarez.
See, Alvarez that they lost, you know what they got for him?
95 million. It's crazy.
Dude, that caters to the fact that they lost him, right? And they have a Luis Dub, which they are like, that's the next guy coming up, right? We can let go of Alvarez.
Yeah.
So I look at them and I'm like, less is more. Surprisingly, guess who my number 2 is? Is Liverpool. Once again, less is more, right? Liverpool are like, who do we need, right? We have squad depth. We need variety. We need more people. I'm telling you, and they go for Chiesa, who, in my opinion, is the best Italian player, outfield player. I don't know what Juventus was thinking, although Juventus actually also is in my list of those that had a good window, right?
They did. They cleared out. I don't understand why they don't like him. But 2-3 years ago, he was an $80-90 million pound player, right? And then he did his ACL, and now he's going for 13 million pounds.
No, so it's the same thing. He requested for too much money, right, in the contract extension, and Juve said, "Hell no, we ain't paying you that." And he said, "I will leave." And he said, "Leave," right?
I don't know if he can run. I've seen him warm up for Liverpool. I don't know if he can run. If there's no lasting damage from the ACL, Liverpool just made the signing of the season, because this guy is a fantastic player. He's a leader, number one. For me, I thought that's a future Juve captain, future Italian captain. Everyone says, he's coming to spell Salah. I saw some guys on ESPN talking about this. They're like, hey, if he plays 15 games successfully, that's 15 games that Salah doesn't have to play. And then you've just extended Salah's career by another 2 or 3 years. Yeah. And you did it all for 13 million pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is Raheem Sterling's annual salary, just for context. So anyway.
I totally agree with that. Completely agree with that. Juventus, on the other hand, they might actually be my tie with City. I don't know, maybe slightly ahead of City. I don't know, but they had a fantastic season. They literally revamped their midfield. They got Kefren Thuram, the other Thuram brother that was at Lille, fantastic player. They got Douglas Luiz, and they got the guy that made Atlanta tick last season, Cope Miners. They paid 50 million or whatever for him. I think that's worth every penny. They got 2 young boys on loan. They got Consecao, the Consecao boy at Porto. They got him on loan,
Porto,
right? And they got Nico Gonzalez from Fiorentina. Nico Gonzalez is a winger, left-legged winger, who is the one replacing Chiesa. He was one of the better players for Argentina at Copa, right? And I'm like, this is not bad. And they promoted people from their feeder team. That black boy I told you about, Mbangula or whatever.
Yeah. That's gone last week. Yeah.
That is a fantastic window for someone that lost Adrian Rabiot. Where is Rabiot? Where is he going to?
I don't know where Rabiot went to. But they forced my guy into retirement though. Szczesny.
Yeah.
Szczesny has retired.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would come to Arsenal as a backup, but he chose to retire instead.
Yeah. They brought in Di Gregorio as the goalkeeper to replace him. Who was one of the better goalkeepers in Serie A last season. Yeah. They've offloaded Moise Kean. I don't even know where they offloaded him to, but he's off their books now.
He just never developed. He never developed as a striker.
Mota came on board and said, you know what? Let me take over the reins here. And he's done a fantastic job. Right?
Yeah.
Madrid didn't buy too many players. Endrick and Mbappe is solid any which way you want to dice it. So they are my A group. And the other one is Marseille, right? Getting Wahi, getting Greenwood, all the small transactions that De Zerbi did. It requires, I think they did some good business. Then I just have every other person in between. Everybody says Arsenal had a fantastic window. Nah, Arsenal had an okay window.
Okay. So anyway, for me, the windows that I liked, and I put it all in context. So I really appreciate what you're saying about City and Liverpool, even though I don't agree, but I appreciate it. I don't agree. I think anytime you lose Alvarez, that's huge and this is why he could back up your number 9. It could also back up your top midfielder. Remember when KDB was injured? He played a lot of 9.5 10s. You know what I mean? 10 and a half. So for me, and it's 24. And it's only going to get better. You know what I mean? And then you saw him take on the number 9 role for Argentina. And I'm like, this guy's about to really break out. So
he wanted to leave.
I know. No, I get it. But I know. But I'm saying you lose that guy.
And he will find out. He will find out. The Atletico that is going to, good luck to him.
But
he will realize Atletico is not City.
You're very biased against Atletico, but they're in my group of winners.
No, I have them. Okay, they're in my middle. Yeah,
they're in my group of winners because for me, I think it's they and Juve. I think it takes courage to do what they've done, which is just we're just gonna blow it. They just pretty much blew it all apart, But anyway, and this guy is gonna do something. I think is gonna do something. I think with Arsenal, I think you don't worry about the shoulder injury to Marino. You don't account for that. If you don't account for that. The best defense in their league added the number 1 sought-after defender in the window, which is Calafiori. Juve wanted him. Everybody wanted him. It just looks massive. It looks big. It looks mobile. He looks intelligent. Marino makes a lot of sense with Partey kind of winding down. And then look at their outgoings. They made some money. We always complain that we don't sell well, that Liverpool sells better, which is true.
Yeah.
But this time, Nketiah is finally gone. I don't know who I'm gonna heap all my abuse on now that Nketiah is gone. You know, I mean, you just have to upgrade in some places, and he wasn't good.
Yeah, but they didn't upgrade Nketiah. That's why they are not in the A group for me, frankly.
Okay, that's fair. That's
frankly,
fair. No, that's
right?
fair.
Because you and I know that Gabriel Jesus is not going to play. His availability is a problem. We're barely 3 games into the season. He's already injured, right? So now you're dependent on Kai Havertz, who is still learning the tricks of the trade, playing up
It's looked
front.
good though.
He has very good. He has looked good. He scored 2 goals. He's played very well. I totally agree, right? Not everybody can be Haaland once again, but you need options, right? So I actually thought Arsenal should have gotten Gyökeres, right? Maybe the money was
gonna get him,
right? Maybe the money was too steep, right?
But it will only get more next year, Yinka. It's
exactly.
not gonna get less.
It's not gonna get less, right? The other person, which I understand, is the way I told you the way Arsenal works. We talk to the player first. If the player is okay to come, then we talk to the club. Nico Williams was the prime target. That is no longer news.
But it's not a striker. It's not a striker.
He's still not a striker. But then you see my point. I think the area that Arsenal needed to cover the most, they didn't. I like Calafiori, but Timber, Kivior, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu as left back options is already an overload. Right?
Yeah. But they wanted to elevate it. Right now, I can say confidently Arsenal have a better defense than City. I can say that confidently. It's not even close anymore.
I agree with you, right? But that wasn't the area that you needed to cater to the most. Now I get it. There's maybe the talent out there is not what they. I understand. So I'm not saying Arsenal have a bad. I actually rated them as B+, right? To be fair, they B+. For me, it's a B+ window. But I just thought they could have done better. I like the outgoings though. I like the outgoings. I'm not mad at the Raheem Sterling deal at all, right? I'm not. Yeah.
So I feel like it replaced my Rashford dream. It wasn't the England international I thought we would get, but it's better. It's so funny. I mean, this guy has fallen off so badly, but the one thing we know that you'll never complain about is Raheem not working hard. That's never been a problem with him.
Yeah.
He may lose his speed, he may even lose his skill, but he will never not work hard. He will never not be a role model. He will never not show up on time. I just can't imagine him going Rashford. And even you look at him in the stands on Sunday, he just looks the part. It's just a real professional. So yeah.
Yeah, Martin Rashford is looking worse every day.
It looks awful.
Awful. And I saw Raheem play for Chelsea preseason. Other than
played all 6 games.
He played. Noni Madueke was the only better player than Raheem for Chelsea's preseason. To be fair, I think to answer, we have almost the same group of people in terms of transfer windows. But Chelsea definitely. The worst. There might be some other clubs, in the English Premier League that maybe they had bad windows also, but they're not Chelsea caliber. I just didn't bother to.
They're not prompt.
I didn't bother to put them in there. They just messed up big time. Anyway.
Okay.
Cool.
Shall we move on to our wordy mentions and talk about the new Champions League format?
Aki, did you know about this before? This new Champions League?
Yeah, they've been talking about it. I never bothered to get into it, but they were talking about it for the last year. They've been talking about it. Yeah.
I knew they were talking about something. I knew there was a format, but I didn't know it was going to be this seismic. I didn't know it was going to be this
drastic. All of that. Yeah.
So when I saw the stuff, and I'm like, which group are we in? And they were like, there's no group. I'm like, what do you mean there's no group? They said, we play this way, we play this person, we play that. I'm like, sorry, what's going on here? Right?
Yeah.
I now had to go really read about it. And I'm like, this is interesting. I don't like this. I don't like this new format. I'm sorry.
So for me, was it you that I was saying? I was saying this too, that UEFA has a solution looking for a problem. Because for me, the problem with the Champions League was not the group stages. The problem with the Champions League is there's no problem with the Champions League.
Exactly.
Champions League was fine. The Champions League was fine. If anything, maybe seeding, so you don't have Real Madrid versus City in the quarterfinals, although some people like the jeopardy part of it, that anyone can get it at any time. But I would love to see the bigger clubs face each other down the road, not in the first knockout stage. I didn't think there was any problem.
This is their attempt to kind of, cater to the needs of the people clamoring for the Super League.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah?
But the clamoring has stopped.
They didn't even need to respond to it. They didn't.
Exactly.
Right? So the only good thing in this whole stuff is that now once you're out. You're not going to Europa League. Because for me, that was just complete nonsense.
Yeah. I don't like that. And honestly, I feel like Leverkusen and Atlanta really elevated the Europa League this past season. I feel like now you have to work to sustain that level, because it looked like we were watching like some really high quality games. Liverpool too. To Liverpool, to Klopp's credit.
Yeah,
Klopp played all his top guns, and everyone took it seriously. And Atlanta looked like worthy winners, which is what you want. Yeah, so the Europa League had a really good season.
I didn't like that you miss out of the group stage, you go to Europa, but you miss out of the quarterfinals, you go home. Come on, then you're supposed to be a Champions League club, will now go to UEFA and go and dominate. You now win trophy. You now come and say, "Hey, I won." Shame on you.
You now have a Ten Hag press conference.
Exactly. Shame on you. You shouldn't even be there. The only way that would have made sense for me is if you lose the quarterfinal, you go and play. You go to Europa, go and join them. Lose the semi-final, go to Europa, go and join. Whatever league that they are. Why would you reward someone from missing out of the group stages of Champions League and they go and play Europa, when someone else got to the final of Champions League and they go home with nothing?
Money. Would you rather have grasshoppers or Manchester United? The answer is Manchester United. Yeah, that's
anyway.
That's
so
the
now
answer.
It's a group stage. Everybody's in the group stage. Everybody's in the same whatever. But you don't.
But you play more games now. You play 8 games now, not 6.
Yeah.
Again, so there's two extra group stage matches.
Yeah.
It's a bit much. It's too much.
Then there are 36 clubs as against the 32 before. That's another advantage, quote unquote, which I don't really believe is the case.
Now you don't play anyone home and away.
You don't play anyone home and away.
Play anyone home or away.
Home or away, yeah. Then the top 8 sides will qualify automatically for the round of 16, while the teams finishing from 9 to 24 will compete in a 2-leg knockout phase, like a playoff, right?
There's more games. It's too much.
They're part to the last 16. Hold on now. So that's how you get the last 16. Any team that finished 25th or lower, you're out. You're gone, right? It's just, I think it's too much. They should have just left.
It's too much.
The only thing you needed to do to the Champions League was this UEFA thing that I talked about and removing the away goals rule. You did the away goals rule. Just
it was fantastic.
Remove
that
this.
Was fantastic.
Fantastic. Remove this and you're fine. Anyway.
So Yinka, I feel like they talk about player welfare, but they really don't care about the players. So,
are you sure?
Just to give you an example. No, I'm not. It's all about the money. So think about it, Yinka. Doesn't it still feel like yesterday that we were watching the Champions League finals in Lagos?
You know what I mean? Just like yesterday.
Yeah, that was made. No, that was June 2nd or June 1st or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So the leagues ended 2 weeks earlier. We had the Champions League final. A couple weeks later, we went into Copa America. We went into the Euros, and then a week after that, went into Copa America.
Then the Olympics.
Right after that, we went into the Olympics. And then while the Olympics was going on, teams were already in preseason. And then you had a full preseason. And now, it's like there's been football in every month this year. When do the players rest? When did the players rest?
They don't.
And now your season just started. Some people are just moving to a new team. So they go, what do? Drop their load and fly back to their country and quickly play 2 weeks of internationals and come back.
That's it. That's how it works. Right?
It's too much. It's way too much. And it's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary.
And then you wonder why we have so many injuries, always tweaking this. So we have way better medical science than we've ever had, and yet we're still having all these injuries because they won't let the players rest. Did you notice Aston Villa when they played Arsenal, how all of them were just dropping like flies? There was in the first 23 minutes or so, 3 or 4 players just stopped.
I noticed.
Hamstring. This, that, and the other.
One nickel, muscle injury. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it is.
And
crazy.
They're gonna play in the Champions League this year. Good luck to them.
And people, now the people are. The squad depth is even getting smaller. People are worrying about quality more than quantity because they need the quality in key games. You just don't need a body; you need a good body.
Yeah,
you understand?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like
playing
you're just
guys even more.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like you're just making the situation tighter. You're making the whole situation worse for people. Anyway, Aki. Breaking news just got out now. Victor Osimhen to Galatasaray is done. Deal done. All documents have been approved. Osimhen, Gala will cover the loan. Cover his salary while he's on loan. No buy option, no obligation. Osimhen's release clause has been revisited by Napoli to 75 million euros. What are you still doing with release clauses?
You know why? Because they hope someone will come and buy him in January. That's what they're hoping. That's what they're hoping. Or next summer. 75 million is perfect for Osimhen.
With option to extend until 2027. Right?
Yeah.
That's Napoli being stupid again.
They've already lost. They don't want to keep losing.
Don't scare people away with release clauses. Just let
you want them to take it away completely?
No,
you want them to take it away completely? They can't do that. They can't do that.
Negotiate.
They can't do that.
Akin, it is still gonna happen. If he doesn't play well, right? People will not want to. You had 130. People came to tell you this is what we're willing to pay. So why are you even putting the release clause? Of what benefit is it? I'm sure Victor's camp is not happy with the release clause, but they're like, you know what? Shame, if you put the release clause, we can go. Yeah, put it. That's your headache. It's nonsense.
Let me read something to you from. They are. Like I said, the coach and owner are a little nuts. So reading this is a IG post by somebody. Victor Osimhen's situation is bizarre. This is Manu Vef is the name of this account. Napoli asked for an additional 5 million euros from Al Ali, who called their bluff and signed Ivan Toney instead. So now, instead of 70 million euros in the pocket, Napoli have a transfer deficit of 138 million this summer. This is all euros. They have also stripped Osimhen of his number 9. We know that's not true. That was inaccurate. And not registered him for the squad for this Serie A season. I don't know if that's true. Napoli are hoping for a resolution. Okay, but why would anyone offer them a big transfer fee to sign Osimhen at this stage? So for me, I feel like, look, you had the 130 million, keep it at 130, but tell yourself you'll accept less. I think that's what you're saying. You're not saying drop it to 0.
Just don't put a clause. People will come and negotiate anyway.
But yeah, just leave. But you can't have a 130 million and now say we no longer have it. Because then they'll start at 25 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't negotiate against yourself.
No. Okay, I get what you're saying. What you're saying. But people will come at whatever they're willing to pay anyway.
I think
I'll give you a good example. The Arsenal goalkeeper the goalkeeper that Arsenal was going to get. Before they got Neto, the guy I can't remember the Spanish club. His release clause was
Espanyol.
His release clause was 30 million euros, right?
Yeah.
That was his release clause. Arsenal came and said, we can't pay 30 million. We'll pay you 50 million pounds, whatever that conversion is. And the club said, go kick rocks. I don't care. You don't meet the 30 million. I am not. So you see, the 30 million did not deter. The 30 million did not deter Arsenal from coming for the 15 that they can pay. That's my point.
This guy was coming from the Segunda, which is, La Liga 2.
Yeah.
He had only, at the time they were negotiating, he had only played one La Liga match. And you want, and the 30 million would be Espanyol's record transfer fee.
No, I think he played for them last season. So he came from Segunda the season before.
Oh, the season before. Okay.
So he had played for Espanyol. Okay. No, sorry. The guy is a good goalkeeper. He's a
good goalkeeper. But this would be their record sale. That's my point. This would be the record sale for Espanyol.
Because they're like, we have a quality keeper on our hands. I'm not paying you 30 million for, and they know the young man has no option. It's either you renew with us or you go to Real Madrid or Barca. If those people want you,
and sit on the bench,
30 million. Yeah, exactly.
And sit on the bench.
So it will not deter a club, right, that wants your player. They will still come and say, this is how much we're willing to pay. So stop. And some other clubs that might be interested will be like, these people that put 75 million. I beg, but not let them worry. We don't have. You're sending. You're proving. You're sending the wrong message to the market that we are difficult. That's what it means.
That's what it means. While we're on the goalkeeper, I thought Arsenal actually had a pretty good goalkeeper window. Now, remember this time last year, the big question mark was on, hey, why do you have two number ones? Blah, 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 blah.
And then, I remember.
And then now, you have this guy on the bench. Why? What are you doing? So now it's gone. You now have a 35-year-old, I think, Brazilian international, Neto.
Yeah.
It's perfect. That's what you want. It's perfect. He's played for Brazil. He's won things. He's played for Juve. That's what you want.
I would have been pissed if Arsenal met that release clause.
The 30 million, yeah.
You can't keep.
All of this goes back to not keeping Martinez.
Martinez wanted to leave.
No, I know, but they were worried. Again, that was old Arsenal. They were worried about Leno. Arteta would not be worried about Leno.
You know what I'm saying? Leno.
Would have been like, I don't care about Leno. Like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
So because they remembered how good Leno was before that injury.
Yeah.
And they're like, Martinez has been with us 9 years. He wasn't good until
but two seasons ago.
But he was just good. So sorry,
I
Leno.
Mean, it's
to the bench.
It's up that way. We've seen the best of Leno. Leno will go down subsequently. This guy can only get better at this point. I agree.
And Martinez came out and said, "There's an opening. Argentina number one. I want to fill that opening. I want to be Argentina number one.
And for me to be that, I need to play.
Speaking of, there was a few retirements from international football, and I think probably the biggest one that hasn't really been talked about is Neuer, Manuel Neuer. He's retired from international ball. Who do you think will be Germany's number one? Is it Ter Stegen? Is it going to be a competition?
No, it's going to be Ter Stegen.
Okay,
it will be Ter Stegen. Yeah,
Leno doesn't stand a chance.
Make the team to the Euros, did he?
No.
He didn't.
I thought it was a number 3. It's not. It wasn't a number 3.
No. He wasn't a number 3. He didn't go for the Euros. He knows that his career is probably going to end up Fulham, and he's fine with it, right? It's not on the team anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, Akin, let me do my donkey of the week and we can wrap this up.
Go for it.
I don't take the donkey of the week from things that we've not talked about. If you guys have noticed, I always take the donkey of the week from the topics that we've covered week in, week out. So this week we have 2 nominees. Number one is a repeat nominee, Mr. Erik ten Hag. At this point, I think we should just make him an honorary nominee every week, right? Until he gets fired by United. Yeah? What happened, your coaching methods against Liverpool, your interactions with the reporters subsequently, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. Sometimes when you are beaten and you were properly beaten, you should be shameful and just hide your face and just humble yourself and say, you know what, we had a bad day. I had a bad day. We would revisit this. I promise you guys will get better. Da 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 da. Somebody can beat you like that, and what you are coming up to say is, "Oh, I've won two trophies." That's not the question. You were properly bashed. You were thoroughly bashed. And that's the only thing you could say in your house. And that's the utter nonsense that you could say.
Oh, Lord.
Come on. I don't understand. I read the script before I saw the interview. I was like, nah, these guys are mocking. Ten Hag can't say this now. Until I saw the interview, I'm like, you telling a reporter, I'm sorry for you. What do you...
Yeah.
So, unless his English is not perfect, right?
English is not his first language.
And
no, but it's true.
He wanted to say something else, and that is what he...
And English is a trash language anyway, as I always say. So you can't really express yourself in English. That's the problem.
Exactly. But if I kind of get a sense of what he's saying, dude, right? I'm sorry that you believe I am the problem, but I'm not the problem. I've won 2 trophies. That's what I interpreted it as. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong. So even if that is my interpretation, that is still wrong. You can't say that.
You don't need to defend yourself. I think that's what is missing. You don't need to defend yourself.
If you were properly beaten like that, if it had been a photo finish and it was 3 and they scored last minute winner and blah blah, or you played well but they did the scoring, we can even excuse that. But not when you were thoroughly battered. Mr. Ten Hag, you're a nominee, don't do that again. But the winner obviously has to be Chris Kavanagh. Right?
Oh, Lord.
It has to be Chris Kavanagh. Right? And PGMOL in general. This has to stop. The number of incidences with Arsenal that is the first, and you will never see it again, is becoming too much. The first double yellow, Arsenal. We've not seen it again subsequently. The first delay of throwing red card for 3 seconds delay, Tomiyasu. We've never seen it again. Right? The clear on goal that the striker hits the knee of David Luiz and goes down, you send off David Luiz. When it was the striker that hit him and fell, and a penalty and a red, we have never seen that again. Somebody scores, you don't draw the line at all to check if it is offside. Arsenal, we've not seen that again. When will this nonsense stop?
Never,
right? So you're telling me I'll keep on complaining like this forever?
You know what I thought about when David Raya got a yellow for time wasting?
Yeah.
I was expecting a second yellow and a sending off. That's how bad.
That's how bad it was, right?
These things are. Yeah.
That's how bad it was. I was too, right? And for Chris Kavanagh, for you to only give Brighton, upon all the offenses they had on the pitch, the only card they got was for dissent because they abused you. That's all they got in that same game. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, my
Minta,
donkey
right?
of the week.
Minta, yeah.
All of them. Minta, Joao Pedro, several offenses. Elbow to the head by this, is it Windshield or what's his name? I can't remember. Their young left back that played against Saka.
He played well.
He played well, but he elbowed Saka in the head. He did. And it was intentional. He saw him and gave him poo. And you came.
It was also the one that pulled his jersey.
It was also the one that pulled him in the first half. The refs cannot continue to overlook this stuff. And for all the opposing teams that are saying, Arsenal, you guys moan a lot, your turn is coming. Watch. But maybe they don't hate you as much as they hate Arsenal. So maybe your turn will not come, right? But we shall see. Anyway, Chris Kavanagh is my donkey of the week. I was going to tell him don't do it again, but I guess I'm just.
It will do it. It will do it again. He made me pine for the days of Michael Oliver, who is a terrible referee.
Who is a terrible referee.
I'm like, this would never happen under my guy, Michael Oliver.
He's a terrible referee.
I'm like, yeah.
And in England, I understand it's only Italy and England. I'm not sure if it has changed now. There's only Italy and England that we have professional refs. That's their job. That's what they do only. In other leagues, you are something else and you are a referee. So you have some people that are engineers, they're referee, architects and refs, teachers and refs.
Wow.
So ref is like a secondary occupation, right? Now I can't be paying you to do this and this is the quality you're delivering. It's horrible.
I know. We talk about it every week. Every week we talk about
it. The week we don't talk about refs, we should pop something that day.
Oh my
and celebrate. It's Anyway, Aki, that's my donkey of the week.
All right. Thank you, Yinka. All right, let's wrap it. Where the leagues are off. So next week we will be here. We won't be off next week. But we'll have some content. It may not be league related. But we'll have some content. We're working on things.
Absolutely.
So Yinka, let's wrap.
So thanks people. Thank you very much. We're on track to 1,000 subscribers. Thanks so far for the support. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the views. And thanks for the engagement on across all our social media platforms. So once again, we're Oliver Twist. We want more. Tell your friends about us, and let us know. Send in your questions. Let's know what you want us to talk about. And Aki and I will try as much as possible to do justice to it. Aki.
Very well said. We will see you next week. Enjoy the break from all the leagues, and goodbye.
Bye, people.
Thank you.